But what realistically can the new Congress do? We won't have the presidency for at least 2 years, and we are used to hearing a lot of excuses out of D.C. as to why we can't accomplish anything. But what can you do with the GOP majority? Explain to folks, especially those newer to politics, what this new Trump-supported 93% of the races that Trump was involved in were victorious, much higher than anyone else who was out there endorsing. No one could have done for this MAGA majority what Donald Trump did. But what can we realistically do if all we have is the House? Can you explain that to us?
Well, as you know, I'm a Trump-endorsed candidate, was a former political appointee under the Trump administration, have been very involved in the MAGA movement as well as for understanding the America First agenda and what that means. You know, when we take over majority in the House, we'll be able to set the actual parameters under what investigations and which committees are actually going to be formed and who they're headed by. You know, I'm really excited about the idea of having Congressman Jim Jordan head up the Judiciary Committee as chairman so that we can start actually holding people accountable, like Secretary Mayorkas has let millions. You know, they say 2.3 million this year, Dr. Gina. I'll tell you, I think that they're actually trying to be very conservative. I would guess that that's about 1 million more than what they're actually saying. I think we're closer to 4 million who's come across in this invasion of our sovereignty. So we'll be able to hold people like that accountable. Secretary Mayorkas will not basically just ride off into the light. And I'll tell you, I'm really happy Dr. Fauci's retiring, because that's going to give a lot of time for him to sit in our committees and answer for his funding of gain of function, why he actually tried to push forward with these unconstitutional vaccine mandates, and why he didn't actually stand up for the American people, but stood up for Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and Big Pharma. So we need to start looking at how we hold that accountable. And with the actual House majority, we can host those investigations in those committees. When we have a Senate, we can pass legislation that Biden can either veto, which means the end of his presidency, which will happen anyway in 2024, or he'll actually be forced to actually sign our bills to essentially get back to an America First agenda and get in control of our inflationary spending.